So what's going on, guys? Miles back with another video. I know you guys seen the title. I know you guys have seen the thumbnail. We have to talk about this Fox Sports 1 alleged sex scandal, this lawsuit that's going viral all over the place, that has a bunch of key lessons into it that we need to examine. I'm sure you guys have read or seen a content creator that's examined the 42-page document. So we're not going to go through all of that. I'm going to give you guys a quick summary of what's going on, and then we're going to get into like some of the key lessons that we as men can learn from, and women too, depending on, I just know we have a low percentage of women that watch this channel. But this whole thing is insane, guys. And it just goes to show so many things that we talk about. The sexual politics amongst people is always in play. Don't ever think that it's not. Whenever you're at the job doing your everyday thing and something ain't making sense, she's getting more this and that, and it's because of politics. Sexual politics could be at hand. Now, we got some big names that were named in this lawsuit. Charlie Dixon, who is an executive at FS1, who was busting down a lot of women. Emmanuel Acho was busting down Joy Taylor. And that's the big thing. People are talking about Joy Taylor, but we got to talk about all of it. We got to talk about the men. We got to talk about Joy Taylor, what that means. All of it means. We got Shannon Sharp, whose name was brought up. Of course, Skip Bayless, Miss Faraji, Miss F for short, and then Joy Taylor. So one of the big stories in this whole lawsuit is Joy Taylor slept her way to the top. And this is allegedly, because we have to say alleged, but she gave pretty minute details in the lawsuit because her and Joy Taylor, Miss Faraji and Joy Taylor, would exchange valuable information. And so she threw Joy Taylor under the bus in the lawsuit, basically saying she slept her way to the top, sleeping with Charlie Dixon, sleeping with Emmanuel Acho to get on that channel, or to get on that show on FS1. So also the other thing, the big story is, like I already said, Skip Bayless was offering, because he was in a sexual competition with Shannon Sharp, because in the lawsuit it stated that Skip accused Shannon Sharp of sleeping with Miss Faraji and a couple of other women, and that was angering him because he couldn't, everybody at FS1 was smashing these women, but except Skip Bayless, which is why it makes sense now why him and Shannon Sharp fell out. We thought it was just about the debate. Nope, it was about the sexual politics and the sexual frustration that Skip Bayless was dealing with. And so he got so competitive trying to beat out and get his turn on these women, Joy Taylor, Miss Faraji in particular, calling her voluptuous, saying she's thick, without saying she's thick. He offered this woman allegedly $1.5 million just to sleep with her. Now, I don't know about you guys, but ain't no sex worth $1 million. Ain't no woman worth $1 million to sleep with her. Not even $100,000, not even $1,000, not even $100. This man allegedly $1.5 million. Guys, tricking is alive and well. It ain't going nowhere, guys. If you ain't willing to pay, another man will. And so the game is effed up. So what's one of the big lessons that I want to talk about first? This is probably going to be a little bit longer video for you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Share the video if you like the video. Men will always ruin their lives with box. They'll always throw their careers, their lives away because they're dealing with women at the workplace. We're going to talk about that in a second. But that's been the story and the downfall of men for ages. Women. I was reading Attila the Hun the other day, and he literally went to war and pillaged whole lands because one woman rejected him, and he has multiple women. Make it make sense. Charlie Dixon's married, Skip Bayless is married, and they're just trying to sleep with all these women at work. And out of all the women they could have cheated with, why'd they have to do it at the workplace? I was watching Jason Whitlock's take on this because he's probably the most qualified person to speak about this because he knows everybody in this story. He's worked with them personally. He's worked with Fox Sports 1. One of the biggest advice that he gave today is if you're an employer, the moment that you sleep with a woman, she no longer works for you. You work for her because she's going to need favors. Every time she needs a day off, she's going to be like, hey, remember I gave you sex. Hey, I gave you sex. I better get that promotion. Women use that as a negotiation tool. We're going to get into that in a second. And so, in all likelihood, Charlie Dixon and Skip Bayless are probably done. Their careers are done. I mean, Skip Bayless was on his last leg anyway. After Undisputed, it was a wrap for him. Nobody really cared. And to go sit out in the sunset, because he's old. I think Skip is approaching 80 years old. No BS. He's probably in his 70s. He stays in good shape. But to go out like this with the career in sports media that he's had, it's got to be devastating. It literally neglects everything that he did, right? This one lapse in judgment just eliminated 40, 30, 40, 50 years of work that he just put in. Now he will be forever labeled a creep. May even get divorced and die alone. And so this is insane, guys. Don't sleep with women at work. And for you women that are watching this, because I know you women are big on trying to get with executives and trying to get in the executive suite to get in touch with these men. Let me tell you guys a cold, hard truth about these executives, because I keep seeing stories about this over and over. If you are a daughter of an executive, if you ever find yourself and your husband is an executive, I just want you guys to know the truth. There is about an 80% chance that he's cheated on your mother or he's cheating on you if you are his wife. That just is what it is. You guys can deal with it how you deal with it. Some of you women probably already know that, and it doesn't bother you that much because you're getting money or the reputation hasn't been ruined public. Like if Charlie Dixon and all this stuff would have never came out, if it would have stayed under wraps, these women would have no problem with it. But since it came out, making these women look bad, now here comes the retaliation. Now here comes the divorces. Now here comes her taking half of your stuff. And so if you're a woman and you go after these executives, just know he's going to cheat on you. And if you are having sex with him and you know he has a wife, he's just screwing you. You're a pump and dump. It is what it is. Now let's get into the nitty gritty of this whole thing. If you guys have made it this far, the problem with women in the workplace. The reason why Miss Faraji has gotten herself into this predicament in the first place is because she's in a moment of desperation. She's a single mother, of course, right? The same old story. And she's not willing to leave the job or do whatever she needs to do to get retaliation or whatnot. I mean, she did retaliate with this lawsuit, but it took her long enough because why? She's a single mother. She has too much to lose. She has to keep this job and deal with these men making advances on her, even though she's uncomfortable. Why? Because she's desperate for the job. Always, never be desperate for anything. Never be desperate for friendship, a job. You're going to make irrational decisions. But let's get to Joy Taylor. She's a DEI hire. Wasn't qualified for the job at all. She was a bartender in Miami with a little bit of radio hosting at a radio station in Miami. She didn't know anything, which is crazy, right? As a man, Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp, you have to be the top of your game. The executive, they worked their whole lives to get to that position. And this woman, all she did was just show her titties show her titties were perky in her shirt. And she got a promotion within a sexual encounter a lot faster than you. And so I want to talk about this for a quick second. You guys want to know the hidden truth that women will never tell you about feminism? They'll never tell you this, but I've put two and two together. Women pushed for feminism to be pushed into the workplace, not because they want to work and have a career. No, that's not what it's for. So you think these women wanted to work? No, they didn't want to work. These women don't want to work now. Look at these women. Like if you went to a college campus right now and you had a class with the women and you said, hey, you want to be successful? Well, the next 20 to 30 years, you're going to be working 10, 12, 13, even 14-hour days. These women are going to be like, oh, hell no. Women don't work that hard. Some women do, don't get me wrong, but that's like 5-10% of women. You know, the women that are actually qualified for the job, not using their sexuality to get the job. So the hidden truth that women hide in feminism is they wanted to get access to these top executives, these top tier men, which is why they wanted to be pushed into the workplace so they can be put in positions to have sex and to potentially attract these guys as mates. But at the very least, they have access to them at work to sleep with them and to get that validation from them. In particular, the 3s, the 4s, and the 5s on the 1 to 10 scale of attractiveness for women. Those 3s, 4s, and 5s on the sexual marketplace wanted access to these top tier men, which is why they want to go into the workplace and work with men. It wasn't about they wanted a career. They wanted validation and sexual encounters with these top tier men. Think about it, guys. Why would you go, let me just say it like this. Why would you want to be a reporter and push so hard for women to be in the reporting space of sports? And you're pushing so hard to interview men while they're in their locker room, getting undressed, getting ready to shower, coming from showers. Like there's been incidences where women have interviewed LeBron James and he has a towel around his waist. Are you guys starting to put two and two together? It wasn't about these women wanted careers. These women wanted to be around these high level guys to get sexual opportunities with them. That's why they push so hard for women to be in the locker room, right? If a guy pushed so hard to be in the locker room, they call him a pervert and all of that. And plus, why can't you just wait 30, 40 minutes for them to get dressed? And, depending on how the game went, they could be happy, they could be mad. Give them a second to themselves for 30 to 40 minutes, let them come out, or get them before they go into the dressing room. Why you have to push so hard to get in that dressing room with these players is because they want to see them abs, them muscles. They want to see them Johnsons swinging. Let's just be real. And so this is the problem with women in the workplace. Sex is always a negotiation tool being used by women. And you guys want to know why you're getting overlooked for jobs? Why? Guys, I want you guys to know this. There's certain jobs as a man you will never get. Why? Because women have taken over those jobs. Not because they're qualified, they're just better looking. The execs want something good to look at, and they know that the consumer wants something good to look at once they come into the door. And these women are negotiating with box. How can you outcompete a woman that's negotiating her salary or her promotion with box? You can't compete with that. You can't compete with that. Just imagine you're in competition. It's 5 guys and 2 women. And the 2 women are highly attractive for the position. And they're willing to sleep with the executive or the recruiter. They're going to get the job, guys. And so every time I see a woman that's in a position that she's not qualified for, I automatically assume, and it's safe to assume at this point, that she is sleeping with one of those executives. She is sleeping with somebody in a prominent position. The sexual politics have taken over. And so Joy Taylor has slept her way to the top, allegedly, but there's proof of this. She got divorced because her husband thought she was cheating. And plus, it's another reason why you don't sleep with women at the workplace. In the lawsuit, Ms. Faraji basically detailed that Joy Taylor had set these men up just to okey-doke them in the back, on the back end. Say, hey, these advances were unwanted. Hey, all of this stuff. So it's a setup, guys. Don't sleep with women at the work, I'm telling you. But you guys are going to do what you want to do. This also kills the credibility for the women, like I said earlier, that are actually hardworking, wanting to be respected, not for their sexuality, but for their intellect, their hard work, their work ethic. This throws them completely in the mix with these women that are unqualified, devaluing themselves, sleeping with these men. So what's my prediction going forward? We're at the conclusion of the video. This is only the tip of the iceberg. I feel like this is happening everywhere. If this happened at FS1, you know it's happening at CBS. You know it's happening at CNN. You know it's happening at ESPN. Malika Andrews, all these people. Guys, they're doing it. They're busting it down for the check. And it ain't nothing me or you can do about it. Really. Why? Because in the end, we could put men and women in their separate places. They don't have to work together. Putting men and women in the same space, we know sex is going to happen. So why don't we just separate the two? But they're not going to put a law in place for that. The men aren't, and the women aren't going to push for it, which means what? They secretly enjoy having sex with one another. Like I said before, the hidden truth behind feminism is these women wanted to work because they wanted to make their own money and have sex with Chad and Tyrone without penalty, right? Because they had to be in a married household. They didn't have access to Chad and Tyrone. They needed the money, needed a husband that had a job, and they just had to deal with it. But now, since they have their own money, now they can seek out getting smashed from Chad and Tyrone without any consequences. Or getting divorced, her husband finding out and getting divorced and losing all that money because she didn't have a job, right? And plus they're pushing for it because in the workplace, they have access to these top tier men. They're in close quarters with them so they can maneuver their mate calling. And so This whole thing exposes a lot about what's going on at work, what's really going on in the world with these women that aren't qualified for the job. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. It's been a longer video. You guys have a good day, a good week, and I will see you guys in the next one, man. Peace.